can't quite believe it, but it's just 33 days until I race the Chicago Marathon, so just over a month's time. Training's been going really well in the last few weeks, and I'm looking forward to getting out to Chicago and putting the fitness to the test. But in today's video, I thought I would answer a few of your questions from over on Instagram. We can chat all things marathon prep, but before that, I'm gonna have some lunch because I've just ran my first session of the day this morning, and I've got another 12 by 1k session this evening, so I need to fuel up and then I'll jump in to some questions. While my lunch is in the microwave, I thought I would just introduce myself in the off chance that you are new around here. My name's Ben and I've run 2:24 for the marathon and 66 minutes for the half, so I kind of sit in that weird category of being pretty fast for an amateur runner but pretty slow when it comes to professional running. So I kind of sit in that sub-elite category. I started running a little bit late, got into it in my 20s and progressed pretty quickly, but have sort of plateaued around that sort of low 220s for the marathon in the last few years. I'm sort of 8 weeks into my training block with 5 weeks to go. I've got a little bit of speed work to do in the next few weeks to get ready for race day, but without further ado, let's jump into some of the questions. So the first question is from Liam Scott. He asks, what type of training method do you follow? I kind of have a little bit of a mixture of philosophies that I myself have dialed into with my coach. It follows a little bit more of a typical Norwegian / Scandinavian threshold style of training. A lot of my sessions will be around LT2 intensity or LT1, your 2 lactate turn points, and that's something that I've followed for the last couple of years. So I'll typically do a double session on Tuesdays. On Thursday or Friday, I'll have a bit more of a marathon specific session, so focused in a little bit on more that 325, which for me sits right between LT1 and LT2. Then at the weekend, I do a long run that starts off steady and then progresses down to a bit of marathon pace work towards the end. And that's a typical structure for me, around 140 to 160 kilometers in my marathon training weeks. So yeah, in terms of what my training looks like, that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea. Not bad. I've been putting this off for weeks, but I'm in dire need of a haircut. The fade is non-existent at the moment, so I'm going to go see my barber, who is about a 20-minute drive up the road. But before I do that, I'll answer one more question. This one's from Ellisinator. That's a great Instagram name. How long will you be in Chicago? Any shakeout runs planned? And he is also racing, but not that fast. Good for you, mate. Hope your marathon training's going well. Firstly, my plans for Chicago are still to be completely dialed in, but I think I'm going to be flying out on the Thursday and flying home on the Monday. So we'll be there 3 days before the race and then a day after the race. So there will definitely be a shakeout run. I'm actually doing the race with Nike and ProDirect, so I'll probably be joining a run that's already been pre-organised, but I'll let you know which one I'm going to go to. So if you want to come along for a pre-run shakeout on the Saturday, that would be awesome. I'd love to see a few of you down there. So Ellisinator, I hope to meet you there. And yeah, that kind of answers your question. I'll be in Chicago for around 4 or 5 days, fly to America, run the marathon, hopefully have a great time, and then fly home on the Monday. I just made it to the barber shop. Shout out Springfield Barbers, my mate Joe, if you ever want your haircut in Essex area. He's Chelmsford based. He does a pretty good job. I'll show you before and after. The next question is from James. Try not to get run over because I'm stood in the road, but he says, what's a realistic time target based off your current training? So my PB is 2:24. I think in the next 4 weeks there's a good chance that I can progress things down a little bit, but based on current fitness I think I'm in about 2:28 marathon shape. I recently did the Stockholm half marathon and I ran 71 minutes, and when I ran my PB for the marathon, I think when I was in around 68-minute shape for the half marathon. So I'm a little bit off that at the moment, but as I said in the previous clip, things are trending in the right direction. So with 4 weeks more of solid training, then I don't know, maybe I can get back into the low 220s. But yeah, I think based off where I'm at the moment, around 228, but there's still plenty of work to be done, so I'm certainly not going to limit myself. There we go, the skinhead is back, much better. Feel a nice little fresh fade, thanks Joe. But on to the next question. This one's from Baxter. Who is your favourite YouTube channel not about running? Good question. So I've got two favourite YouTube channels that are not running related. The first is a guy called Sam Pilgrim. He makes sort of like mountain bike tricks style videos is the best way to describe it, but he's from my hometown, so I've watched him for years and years and I still love his videos now. I've got no interest in mountain biking or learning how to do jumps and tricks, but his videos are so entertaining that I always find myself watching his. Another one I really like is a guy called Bo Miles, who is an Australian. He is technically a runner, but his videos are not really like your typical running content. I think the first video that I watched of his was him running a marathon and then doing a activity every sort of lap of his house. It was a marathon over 24 hours and he did a different activity over that sort of 24-hour period. It was a really, really good video. So yes, that is a running video, but then a lot of his other content is about like exploring Australia, getting out there in the wilderness and conservation, and yeah, he's just a really great storyteller. Me and Meg always watch him when he brings out a new video. They're like little feature-length films more than YouTube videos, sorry. And then the final one, I know I said two, and the third one just popped into mind, is a guy called Dan Jones, who's based up north in Manchester, I believe. Met him a few times. He's more into his cycling now, and he has one of the best YouTube channels in terms of like visuals. His visual storytelling is really, really good, so I like watching his videos when I'm on the treadmill or having my breakfast, because yeah, just beautiful shots of him cycling around different parts of the world, which is always interesting to watch, and yeah, sound guy as well. So those would be my three recommendations. Hello, you right?
Yeah, I think I'm done.
Good job.
Hello.
Hey.
You right?
Do you like my hair?
Oh wow, go on. Oh my god, it feels like Velcro when you have it like that.
What are you up to, Megs, on this lovely Tuesday?
I am finishing the edit of Shoe Chat Sundays with Philly. That comes out this Sunday?
Yes.
Probably. I don't know when this is coming out, but might be out, might not be.
What's the current status on the video?
It is a long one. It's 42 minutes, but I think it's absolutely worth it. I've cut everything out I can cut out, but actually, like the conversation with you and Philly is great. I can't wait for you to see that.
One question actually I got on Instagram for this week's Q&A was, what does your, like, they were inspiring content creator, what does your workflow look like?
Yeah, that is.
So maybe you could explain it now that you've been working alongside me for the last, how long has it been? 6 months?
And I've been like, since start of Feb.
Yeah.
And I've been on both sides of it, because obviously I had a full-time job, worked in London alongside, kind of like I'd help you in the evening sometimes, just in general advice and like helping film, stuff like that. But it's very varied.
Yes.
Not like a structured 9-to-5 job that I was really used to. So I think when we started working together, I was like, okay, what are we doing today then? And like needed a list almost, like, to make sure I'm ticking off in my brain. But actually I've started to get used to and lean into the fact that sometimes an idea will come that day and you'll work on that. Sometimes you'll have something planned and you'll structure it into your week or into your day and you'll execute it. Lots of different things, but yeah, really varied.
Yeah. Do you think that answered the question in terms of workflow?
Do you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
it's varied all the time. We have periods where it's super busy and we need to be like full on editing until 9-10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Other days it's a bit more chilled out, like kind of today, I guess. Meg's working on an edit. I'm now filming a new YouTube video. We kind of take it in turns in terms of like helping each other film certain content. We'll sit down at the start of the week and kind of plan out our week in terms of, for example, this week on Thursday we're shooting a workout video for my Chicago sort of training series, and then just try and plan it around family stuff as well.
Yeah, that has worked well for us, is like sitting down together at the start of the week, so just so we're on the same page and we both know what's going on.
So back in the car again, off to go and see my sister for a coffee. It's her day off at work, so I said I'd go and meet her for a little catch up. Oh, I just spat some apple out, gross. Sorry about that. The next question is, what was your most surreal moment as a content creator? The most surreal moment by far was when I was flown out to Jamaica. It still sounds absolutely crazy when I try and explain it. With Puma, as part of that trip, we got to meet probably the most famous track and field athlete of all time, which was Usain Bolt, on a private island, which is crazy. We all had like a very small slot with him. I remember being there with Liam, who is one of the guys that helps me film my videos, a videographer. And we did a quick Q&A with him, shook his hand, met him on this island, and yeah, he was just one of those people that had such a crazy like aura about him, like just you couldn't stop smiling. It was one of those people who was like, whoa, that is like probably one of the most famous people on the earth. And he was so down to earth, so humble, and had time for everyone, and it was just an incredible experience, and one I don't think I'll ever top, to be honest. Right, so I've managed to rope in my sister. Mum, help me with a few Q&A questions. I'm going to give you the questions. You're just going to pick a few and I'll answer them quickly.
I have no clue what we're actually doing here.
Just pick the ones. There's loads of them, but just pick an interesting one.
What shoes will you be rocking, or have you not decided yet?
So I will be rocking the Alphafly 3 is the plan. Maybe the Vaporfly. As I said earlier in this video, I'm doing it with Nike, so I've got the choice between two, but I'm thinking Alphafly.
Have you been doing much hill work in your training?
No, I haven't. Partly because I've been a little bit injured and I've not been able to do any hill training because it would have aggravated my hamstring, and also Chicago's dead flat, so I haven't bothered this time round, but maybe that will come to haunt me.
Are you also running Valencia half?
Yes, I am. Nice choice of question. I'll be running the Valencia half with Ellie, which is 2 weeks later after Chicago, so I'm planning probably to run it with her.
Hopefully pacing me to a sub 2 hour.
Yes.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
That's the plan.
That's what I'm training for at the moment.
Yeah.
Make it about me.
Follow her, Ellie runs. But there we go. Yep, all done. Lovely. Thank you, Mum.
And I just realised.
Great videography.
I realised I got the green bin in at the beginning.
Oh
I'm
no!
apologise.
Don't film the green bin.
I'm sorry.
But
I didn't realise.
appreciate your help. Right, back to the walk. Wow! Look at this lovely church. We've come for a little wander around Coggeshall. If anyone's local, what do you think of the church, Mum?
Yeah, it's a beautiful church. It is. It's nice. Let's have a look inside. Come with me.
Welcome to my crib. Okay, we found another bench, so we're going to do a few more questions, and Mum did such a great job with the camera work. So what's next?
So the next question is not about Chicago Marathon,
Yeah.
but what would you say your favourite race has been so far?
Oh, my favourite race is definitely the Boston Marathon, I think. But close was Barcelona half last year. It's always the races that go well.
My favourite that I've ever done is Hackney Half. That's one I can say
Hackney
you need
Half
to
is
do.
good.
The vibes
Yeah,
on
it's
that.
not too hot.
Yeah, it's always a scorcher of a day, but that's the one I'd recommend doing. And we'll do one more question, and that is, what is your go-to post-race meal?
Ooh, I'm a sucker for McDonald's. I'll go for classic double cheeseburger, a wrap of the day meal with fries and
McFlurry?
Coke Zero. Not really a desserts person too much, not much of a sweet tooth, so I'd probably maybe go for a McDonald's donut if they've got a bakery section, but as long as there's a double cheeseburger and a wrap of the day, I'm happy.
Right, that answers a few more.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for your help.
You're welcome.
Have a nice day. Ciao.
Ciao. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much to my mum and sister Dev for giving me a little hand. Had a nice little catch up with them. It's my birthday last week when we were away, so they got a few presents for me which I'm going to open on Friday when we're meeting up for some pizza. But anyway, a few more cues. The next one here says, are you going to head back to Kenya? I definitely will head back to Kenya, but not before the Chicago Marathon. Just planning to do the rest of the training in the UK. I'm going on holiday to Devon next week, so that will change things up a little bit. Just the way things have panned out over the last few months, it's been quite busy, so I just decided to base myself at home and then fly out to Chicago from London. One final question before I head home and get changed ready for session number 2 of the day. I've got 12 by a kilometre tonight that I'm going to do on the treadmill, followed by a bit of strength work. It comes from Ross and he says, tendon problems, would love a full video on your experience, but if only one question, what's been most important for recovery? So yeah, if you don't know, I've been struggling with a bit of hamstring tendinopathy on and off probably for the last year, but it only really flared up to a point where I had to take some time off running in sort of July, August time. So basically, my advice when it comes to hamstring tendinopathy or tendinopathy in general is focus on what you can do rather than what you can't. So for me, I found that the strides and the faster running in my training was causing my hamstring to flare up, but I could run basically anything up to marathon pace without any issues. So I basically have got rid of all of the VO2 max work, the hill sprints in the last few months to allow the hamstring to sort of calm down a little bit, which has been really helpful. My second big pointer would be go along to your local osteopath for some more specific treatment. I've been going every other week and that's been really good at getting some targeted massage, some checkups on certain movement patterns to see what's causing it, and I've been working on a strength plan. And the third thing is isometrics. I feel like in terms of all the things I've done for the hamstring tendinopathy, isometrics has been the one thing that's really helped, which are exercises where you load the tendon with quite a lot of weight and you sort of hold it until the tendon fatigues. And I've been doing that with sort of like bridges, hamstring curls with the band, and I found they have really worked in terms of strengthening the area that had a weakness, which was causing the initial pain. But yeah, some great questions again. Time to head to the gym and get that 12 by K session done. So I just got back from the gym. The next question is from Thomas, and he says, gym work, definitely, some S and C. So when it comes to gym stuff, I tend to go to the gym once or twice a week, and I don't do a huge amount, to be honest, probably only 30 to 45 minutes in each session, and I typically will focus in on single leg movements. I focus on strength, stability, and working on a few sort of key movement patterns that are going to help me with my running. And yeah, I like to keep things fairly basic. I don't go necessarily too heavy in the gym because I like to keep my legs somewhat fresh for the next day of training, and I focus more on sort of like injury prevention rather than a specific strength program. I definitely could make a whole entire video on that, which I may do in the future. But the next question is one I'm more excited about, and that is from Just Jobs. He says, tell us about your current coffee setup. What beans, what machine is it, and how do you make it? So this beauty here is the coffee machine that I've had probably for about 2 years now, and before this I had another Sage machine. I believe it's called the Express Pro. I've got to find the name to put it somewhere, but it's been a little while since I brought it. It's really, really good. It's not my dream coffee machine. My dream coffee machine is the La Marzocco Mini, which costs $4,000. So if anyone from La Marzocco is watching this, then wants to give me one, you know, hit me up. But I haven't quite saved up enough money for it so far. But one of my favourite coffees that I use on the regular is from a company based in Cardiff called Hardlines. This is a Rwandan natural coffee, which is very, very nice. But recently we went to Stockholm. My favourite roasters in Stockholm is called Drop Coffee. If you ever visit, then you must go there. And yeah, this is some coffee that Meg brought me for my birthday from El Salvador, which I'm yet to try, but very excited to. So yeah, this is my coffee setup, and in terms of how I have it, always drink flat whites, occasionally Americanos. But yeah, that's my coffee machine, and I drink probably 1 to 3 cups of coffee a day.
And show us your mug cupboard.
This is my mug cupboard. Come and have a look. We've got, Hardlines. This is one of my favourites, look at that, beautiful. And then this is a new addition to the family from Meg's parents, another birthday present. But we got some retro ones. All of them are different. But yeah, all sort of like that flat white size. And that brings me on to the final question in today's video. If you've made it this far, thanks for following along. And if you have any questions that I haven't answered, then feel free to drop them in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But the last one's from Callum. He said, what is your why? What keeps you going when it gets tough? Which I thought was a lovely way to end this video. So if I cast things back to when I got into running, it was mainly to meet new people, and then I sort of found the performance side of things, and since then I've kind of been somewhat addicted to that feeling of constant improvement. That feeling when you cross the finish line in a personal best is something that I've not experienced in life from any other sport or any other aspect. And what keeps me going when it gets tough, I try to think back at all the training that I've done in the build up when sessions have got tough and I've pushed through it, because most of the time when I'm running marathons it does get tough and there are periods of ups and downs, so you have to sort of have these things in the back of your mind that you can then go to help push you forward. And a lot of the time I go back to sessions where I've worked really hard, or long runs that have gone really well, and just try and think back at the training that I've done and trust yourself that you've done enough, you've prepared for this race, and to endure the pain, because it's not going to be easy. There's going to be some suffering along the way, but it'll be all worth it once you get to the finish line. So yeah, that is a little bit about my why. But that summarises today's Q&A video. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, aspire to run, run to inspire, and we'll see you again soon. Just 4 weeks to go until Chicago.